Every eye in the luxury hotel ballroom turned toward the quiet waiter at the exact same moment. A crystal wineglass slipped from his trembling hand and shattered across the marble floor. Before anyone could scold him, his voice cut through the room with desperate urgency. He warned the billionaire at the head table that the translator standing beside him was lying about every word of a deal worth $500 million. For 3 terrifying seconds, nobody moved. Security rushed forward, executives gasped, and the translator smiled with complete confidence. Everyone believed the waiter had just destroyed his own life. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances can change someone's destiny, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel to become part of our growing family and community. The waiter was named Preston Hale, a 36-year-old single father who worked double shifts at the prestigious Kingsbridge Grand Hotel. Few people noticed him beyond the neatly pressed uniform and the tired smile he wore every day. Every morning before sunrise he prepared breakfast for his 8-year-old daughter, Cora, walked her to school, and hurried to work carrying the weight of bills, grief, and responsibility. 3 years earlier his wife had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him with a daughter who still whispered good morning to her mother's photograph before leaving home. Preston had once dreamed of becoming a professional interpreter. He had studied languages at university and spoke English, French, German, and Italian fluently, but life had forced him to abandon those dreams when medical debt consumed everything he owned. That afternoon the hotel hosted one of the largest business meetings in the city's history. Billionaire investor Cedric Beaumont had flown in from Europe to finalize an international technology merger valued at $500 million. Television crews waited outside while the world's most influential executives gathered around polished oak tables decorated with white orchids. Cedric trusted only one translator hired through an elite agency, a polished man named Victor Lang. Nobody questioned his credentials. Preston quietly served coffee, sparkling water, and expensive desserts while pretending not to listen. Years of language training made it impossible not to understand every sentence flowing across the room. At first everything seemed ordinary, but then Victor began changing numbers. He softened warning clauses, erased legal protections, and completely reversed several key conditions. Cedric smiled confidently because he believed the translation was accurate, while the opposing executives exchanged secret glances that Preston immediately recognized as triumph. His heartbeat accelerated. If Cedric signed those papers, his company would surrender control of critical patents, lose ownership rights across Europe, and expose thousands of employees to layoffs within months. The deception was brilliant because every altered sentence sounded natural. Only someone fluent in both languages would notice the betrayal. Preston tried convincing himself it wasn't his place. A waiter interrupting billionaires would never be believed. Losing his job would mean losing the apartment where he and Cora lived. Yet every memory of teaching his daughter about honesty echoed inside his heart. He remembered telling her that integrity mattered most when telling the truth carried consequences. When Victor translated the final paragraph, Preston realized there was no time left. The glass slipped from his hand. Silence swallowed the ballroom. His warning burst out before fear could stop him. Security officers immediately grabbed his arms while several executives demanded his removal. Victor calmly laughed and claimed the waiter was mentally unstable and seeking attention. Cedric's expression hardened with disappointment as he prepared to dismiss the interruption. Then Preston did something unexpected. Without asking permission, he repeated the entire conversation from memory in flawless French before translating it accurately into English. Every altered clause, every manipulated number, every hidden condition emerged with astonishing precision. The room grew impossibly still. One attorney quickly compared Preston's translation against the original contract. His face drained of color. Every single word Preston had spoken was correct. Victor's confidence collapsed instantly. Sweat rolled down his forehead as investigators searched his briefcase and electronic devices. Within minutes they discovered encrypted messages proving he had accepted millions from competitors hoping to sabotage Cedric's company. The deal was stopped seconds before the final signature. Cedric slowly approached Preston, no longer seeing a waiter standing before him but a man who had willingly sacrificed everything to protect a stranger. Instead of thanking him immediately, Cedric asked one simple question. "Why risk everything?" Preston answered honestly. He explained that he could replace a job but never replace his daughter's respect. If she someday learned he had watched innocent people lose their livelihoods without speaking up, he would have failed as her father. Those words struck Cedric harder than any financial betrayal. The billionaire had built his fortune chasing success, but years earlier he had lost his own family through endless work and emotional distance. His son barely returned his calls, and his grandchildren knew him only through newspaper articles. Listening to Preston, Cedric realized that the poorest man in the room possessed something money had never bought him. The following morning, sunlight poured through the windows of Cedric's headquarters as Preston nervously arrived expecting to answer more questions from investigators. Instead, the boardroom doors opened. Every executive stood. Cedric introduced Preston as the man who had saved $500 million and protected thousands of employees from unemployment. The applause lasted nearly a full minute. Then Cedric revealed another surprise. During the night he had researched Preston's forgotten academic history. His language professors had once described him as one of the finest translation students they had ever taught. Life, not ability, had ended his career. Cedric offered Preston a position as Director of International Communications with a salary higher than Preston had imagined earning in his lifetime, flexible hours to care for Cora, full medical coverage, and an educational fund for his daughter through university. Preston struggled to speak. For the first time since losing his wife, hope outweighed fear. Months passed, and Preston transformed the company's global partnerships with honesty, humility, and remarkable skill. Employees admired that he greeted janitors with the same respect he offered executives because he remembered exactly what invisible felt like. Cedric changed as well. Inspired by Preston's example, he began spending afternoons mentoring young employees instead of hiding behind conference rooms. He reconciled with his son, met his grandchildren, and quietly established scholarships for single parents pursuing education. One bright spring afternoon Cedric visited Preston's modest home carrying nothing but a homemade birthday cake for Cora. The little girl welcomed him with the fearless smile only children possess. She thanked him for believing in her father when almost no one else had. Cedric felt tears gathering as he realized that saving $500 million had never been the greatest miracle inside that hotel ballroom. The greatest miracle had been finding a man whose character remained priceless despite every hardship life had thrown at him. Years later, whenever new employees joined the company, Cedric personally told the story of the waiter who interrupted a meeting because truth mattered more than comfort. He reminded every executive that wisdom could wear a tailored suit or a simple serving apron, and that greatness often entered a room unnoticed. Before we end this story, tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were Preston? Would you have risked everything to tell the truth, or stayed silent to protect your job? If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Remember, true wealth is never measured by the money we keep, but by the courage, kindness, and integrity we choose when no one expects us to stand up. Sometimes, one honest voice is all it takes to change countless lives forever.